Chapter 11. And the people were as murmurers, speaking evil in the ears of the Lord. And when the Lord heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and devoured in the uttermost part of the camp. And the people cried unto Moses, and Moses prayed unto the Lord, and the fire abated. And the name of the place was called Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a-lusting, and the children of Israel also wept on their part, and said, Would that we were given flesh to eat. We remember the fish which we were wont to eat in Egypt, for naught, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away, there is nothing at all. We have naught save this manna to look to. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and the appearance thereof was the appearance of bdellium. The people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, and beat it in mortars, and seethed it in pots, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was the taste of cake, baked with oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. And Moses heard the people weeping, family by family, every man at the door of his tent. And the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly, and Moses was displeased. And Moses said unto the Lord, Wherefore have you dealt ill with your servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in your sight, that you layest the burden of all this people upon me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I brought them forth, that you should say unto me, Carry them in your bosom, as a nursing father carries the suckling child, unto the land which you didst swear unto their fathers? Whence should I have flesh to give unto all this people? For they trouble me with their weeping, saying, Give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all this people myself alone, because it is too heavy for me. And if you deal thus with me, kill me, I pray you, out of hand, if I have found favor in your sight, and let me not look upon my wretchedness. And the Lord said unto Moses, Gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know as to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with me. And I will come down and speak with you there. And I will take of the Spirit which is upon you, and will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you bear it not yourself alone. And say you unto the people, Sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh, for you have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, Would that we were given flesh to eat, for it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and you shall eat. And you shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but a whole month, until it comes out your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that you have rejected the Lord, who is among you, and have troubled him with weeping, saying, Why now come we forth out of Egypt? And Moses said, The people among whom I am are 600,000 men on foot, and yet you have said, I will give them flesh, that they may eat a whole month. If flocks and herds be slain for them, and will they suffice them? Or if all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, will they suffice them? And the Lord said unto Moses, Is the Lord's hand waxed short? Now shalt you see whether my word shall come to pass unto you or not. And Moses went out, and told the people the words of the Lord. And he gathered 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tent. And the Lord came down in the cloud, and spoke unto him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him, and put it upon the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, but they did so no more. But there remained 2 men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were recorded, but had not gone out into the tent, and they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man, and told Moses, and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. And Yeshua the son of Nun, the minister of Moses, from his youth up, answered and said, My lord Moses, shut them in. And Moses said unto him, Art you jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit upon them. And Moses withdrew into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. And there went forth a wind from the Lord, and brought across quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, about a day's journey on this side, and a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp, and about 2 cubits above the face of the earth. And the people rose up all that day, and all that night, and all the next day, and gathered the quails. And he that gathered least gathered 10 heap, and they spread them all abroad for themselves, round about the camp. While the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote the people with a very great plague. And the name of that place was called Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the people that lusted. From Kibroth Hattaavah the people journeyed unto Chatzeroth, and they abode at Chatzeroth. All right, let's go back up to verse 1 as we are going to continue when the children were journeying in their journeys. The commandment was given to Moses yesterday to make the 2 trumpets, what the alarms would be for, and what the sounds of the alarms would stand for, and how it would call the congregation, it could call the elders, or set in motion them on their journey. And the date was given, and the children set forth in their journey, and they went from Sinai to Paran. And once again, this order is given, the order of how they move, and the order and the sequence in which they will, you might say, the order of the movement. And we're going to pick it up here in verse 1 with the children in their journeys. And the people were as murmurers, speaking evil in the ears of the Lord. And when the Lord heard it, his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burned among them, and devoured in the uttermost part of the camp. So the people were as murmurers. That's complainers. Those that want to complain, speaking evil in the ears of the Lord, are always wanting to start trouble. Complaining, you might say. And when the Lord heard it, when it come to his attention, his anger was kindled. And as we'll find out, sooner or later there becomes enough of them to create enough commotion, enough problem to even get the name of the attention of the Lord. And this anger was kindled. His anger, his frustration, you might say. The fire of the Lord burned among them. There was a judgment because of their murmurings, because of their complaints, and it devoured in the uttermost part of the camp, or in the outer portions of the camp too. And the people cried unto Moses, and Moses prayed unto the Lord, and the fire abated. So now when the judgment of the Lord began because of their complaints, we'll find out the people cried unto Moses, because Moses was the one that they had chose to go between them and the Lord. They didn't want to follow the Lord themselves. They was afraid the Lord would slay them, and rightfully so, he would have. So they cried unto Moses. Moses was the one that was drawn out. He's the one that was rescued by Hashem, and Moses prayed unto the Lord, and the fire abated. So when Moses prayed, the judgments ceased. 3. And the name of that place was called Taberah, because of the fire of the Lord burnt among them. And they called the name of that place Taberah. Taberah is a burning, means a burning, because there was the fire of the Lord that burned among them, and we're going to find out it was the judgment. For that's what the fire was for. It was the judgments for the complaints. 4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a-lusting, and the children of Israel also wept on their part, and said, Would that we were given flesh to eat. And this mixed multitude, of course, it's going to be those that come forth with them out of Egypt. The word is apesuf. It means those that would gather together. It's like a promiscuous assemblage of people, a mixed multitude. And it's going to be multitude that was among them that fell away lusting. And to fall away lusting, it means to wanting after things you don't have, wanting all these, and not being happy with what you've got. We'll find out is basically what lusting is to not be satisfied, never be satisfied, always wanting something else, wanting things that you may have used to had or things that you don't have. We'll find out. You should be happy with what you got, and it's a very simple lesson. If you want something, you'll need to do what it takes to get it. Israel and the children of Israel wept on their part, so they kind of sided with them. We'd like to have some flesh to eat too. Of course, they was living on the manna, the substance that the Lord was providing for them. 5. We remember the fish which we were wont to eat in Egypt for naught, the cucumbers and melons and leeks and onions and garlic. So that they remembered the fish, substance they got in Egypt, that which they used to have in Egypt, this wont to eat in Egypt, or we used to eat in Egypt. Egypt was that place of graves. Of course, there they was nothing but slaves, and these cucumbers, these melons, all this goodness, this sweetness that comes from life and planting and the harvest. 6. But now our soul is dried away, and there's nothing at all. We have not saved this manna to look to. But now our soul is dried away. They have, in a sense, they have shriveled up. There's nothing at all. They've been eating the manna, and that's what they have to look forward to, is just the manna. Of course, they wasn't looking to the future, to the land which the Lord had promised to give them. They was only looking at the now. The time when you got to go through a little trouble to get there sometimes, my friends. We don't just want it, and it comes to it. There it is in front of us. 7. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and the appearance thereof as the appearance of bdellium. And we've had this manna described before as this coriander seed. And the appearance of it is like bdellium. This word bdellium here is berulaka, something in pieces. It's bdellium is like a fragrant gum, maybe the color of like pearl or amber even. But itself, it means something in pieces. 8. The people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills, or beat it in mortars and seethed it in pots and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was like the taste of a cake baked with oil. And this is how it's described. It tastes like something baked with oil. They did everything to it. They ground it in mills, made bread out of it. They beat it into mortars and seethed it in pots. They made these little cakes out of it. And the taste of it was very similar to that. It's a cake, something that is baked with oil. Oil is always going to be that anointing. As we find out, the manna stood for the law. That substance the Lord give you. 10. And Moses heard the people weeping, family by family, every man at the door of his tent, and the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly. Moses was displeased. So Moses heard all these people crying. He heard what was going on. Family by everybody was every man at the door of his tent. Everybody's crying and weeping, wanting something more to eat besides manna. And the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly. And the Lord was displeased about this. Moses was displeased. Moses wasn't happy. All the people crying. There's just crying and commotion everywhere. 11. And Moses said unto the Lord, Wherefore have you dealt ill with your servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in your sight, that you layest the burden of all this people upon me? So Moses, this one who was drawn out, says unto the Lord, Why have you dealt ill with your servant? Why? Well, Moses wants to know why the Lord's been not dealt well with him, and why he hasn't found favor in his sight. And of course, it's not Moses; it's going to be the people. Everybody's still responsible for yourself. You can't. Your burdens aren't just transferred to somebody else, or you're complaining, or all these things. They don't just transfer over to somebody else. You have to deal with these yourself. But Moses felt like the Lord had dealt ill with him, And he has said, why do you lay this burden of all this people upon me? Why is it my responsibility to take care of them? 12. Have I conceived all this people? Have I brought them forth, that you should have said unto me, carry them in your bosom, as a nursing father carries the suckling child, unto the land which you did swear unto their fathers? Moses wants to know if he conceived all this people. Did he give birth to them? Did he bring them forth? Now we'll find out. The Lord did. You should have said unto me, carry them in your bosom, carry them around like a little suckling child, swaddling them, comfort them constantly like a little suckling child, playing nursemaid, just like a nursing father. Of course, we know fathers can't nurse, but have to swing them around and try to comfort the child until we get to the land which you did swear to their fathers. Of course, the Lord has promised to give this land to them, and Moses feels like it's become his responsibility to kind of make sure they get there. 13, what should I have flesh to give unto all this people? For they try me with their weeping, saying, give us flesh that we may eat. Moses wants to know where he's going to get all the flesh to give unto this people. Where is he going to get all the meat to feed this people? Well, they trouble him with weeping. They're crying all the time, saying, give us flesh that we may eat, want something to eat. Moses feels bad. At 14, I am not able to bear all this people myself alone, because it's too heavy for me. And Moses says, I'm not able to bear all this people myself alone. It's too heavy for me. I can't take that total responsibility of all this people. 15, and if you deal thus with me, kill me, I pray you, out of hand. If I have found favor in your sight, let me not look upon my wretchedness. And Moses says, if you deal thus with me, if this is the way you're going to deal with me, then just kill me, I pray you. Out of hand, get me out of the work. Take me away. If I found favor in your sight, slay me, and let me not look upon my wretchedness. Of course, this wretchedness here is his shortcoming is not being able to take care of the children in a way. The word is ra, and it means bad. This evil, this displeasure, this calamity, this grief, even my sorrow, my trouble, my wretchedness. So Moses said, this not being able to help them is like a shortcoming to me. I don't want to look at this. 16, and the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know as to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you. So the Lord said unto Moses, gather me 70 men of the elders of Israel. Of course, these 70, that's 7 tens. It's always in representation of the perfections, or that which is going to complete the law. It's going to be both the judgment and the redemption of men. And these elders of Israel are going to be the ones that's going to represent that. These ones that are known to be these elders or rulers of the people, these officers over them, and they brought them and bring them to the tent of meeting. So the Lord commands Moses to bring 70 of the elders. 17, and I will come down and speak with you there, will take of the Spirit which is upon you, and will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, and you shall bear it not yourself alone. The Lord is going to take this Spirit that is upon Moses and put it upon the 70 elders and give them, and this Spirit is simply an authority where they're like the ruler, somebody has some responsibility for the people, and it was so that Moses didn't have to bear it alone. 18, and say you unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh, for you have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, would that we were given flesh to eat, for it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and you shall eat. And we'll find here, the Lord has commanded Moses to say to the people, of course that's everybody, that's all those that come forth from Israel, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, prepare yourselves against the next understanding, and you shall eat flesh. course, he's going to give them that substance they've been crying for and begging for and wanting for. You have wept in the ears of the Lord. You have wept in the ears. Hashem's hurt you. And you have said, would that we were given flesh to eat, for it was well with us in Egypt. Oh, you thought you was happy in Egypt, I guess, under the burdens of the Pharaoh when you cried out unto the Lord. Oh, but you did have the flesh to eat. Of course, the Lord's going to give you flesh, but we'll find out. Not in a manner which would be in a pleasing manner. We're going to find out. We get a little bit of sarcasm here from the Lord. 19. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days. But you ain't going to have to eat it just 1 day. No, there's going to be plenty. In the beginning of these understandings, we get to witness these understandings, my friend. These 5 days, there's mercy, there's grace in these understandings. There's law in these understandings. There's redemption in these understandings if you want to witness the law. We'll find out sometimes we get what we want, and then we're going to be sorry we got it. 20. But a whole month until it comes out your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that you have rejected the Lord, who is among you, and have troubled him with weeping, saying, why now came we forth out of Egypt? But a whole month, and that's going to be a complete cycle of lesser light until you get the full understanding of it, until it comes out your nostrils, until you're breathing it. It'd be loathsome unto you, till you don't want no more. As we'll find out, that's what they get. You've rejected the Lord who is among you. The Lord was bringing you by the way, leading you by the way that you should come, bringing you slowly along. Now, too much at one time, we'll find out, isn't a good thing. But you've troubled him with the weeping, saying, why now come we forth out of Egypt? Why did we bring you out of the grave? Why did you come forth out of the grave? Just to suffer? 21. Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 men on foot. And yet you have said, I will give them flesh, that they may eat a whole month. We're going to find out the Lord's going to prove himself strong even unto Moses, the one that was drawn out. He don't think the Lord can handle the job. Because there's 600,000 people, because there's 600,000 men on foot. These are just the men that was prepared for war. That's what the on foot stands for, 600,000, because that's the work of men and the judgments being fulfilled here. You have said, I will give them flesh, eat a whole month. And that's exactly what the Lord expects them to do. He's going to 22. If flocks and herds be slain for them, will they suffice them? Or if all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them, will they suffice them? Moses is thinking if they slayed every flock, everything they had to feed the children, it wouldn't be enough. If all the fish of the sea was gathered together, it wouldn't be enough to feed them for a month. 23. And the Lord said unto Moses, changing paragraphs, is the Lord's hand waxed short? Now shalt you see whether my word shall come to pass unto you or not. And the Lord says to Moses, because Moses is one drawn out, is the Lord's hand waxed short? Is there nothing I can't do? You don't think I can do this? I don't have the ability. I don't have the power. Now shalt you see whether my word shall come to pass or not. Whether the Lord's going to show Moses a thing or two as well. 24. And Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord. And he gathered 70 men of the elders and the people and set them round about the tent. So Moses went out, though. He acted upon Hashem's words. And he told the people the words of the Lord. Told them what the Lord said. And he gathered 70 men of the elders, just like the Lord had said. And he set them around about the tent. 25. And the Lord came down in a cloud and spoke unto him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him, and put it upon the 70 elders. It came to pass that when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, but they did so no more. And the Lord came down in a cloud. Of course, he's always in his ways. He has. In his obscurity, a little bit of confusion with it. And he spoke unto him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him, the Spirit that he had given, this breath. Of course, that's that authority that rested around Moses, and he put it upon the 70 elders. And that's going to finish the law, finish this judgment and this redemption. And it came to pass, when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, or they spoke. What did they say? We don't know. But they spoke, and we're going to assume they spoke concerning the Lord and the law, but they did so no more. 26. But there remained 2 men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were recorded, but had not gone out into the tent, and they prophesied in the camp. Now there remained 2 men in the camp. We're going to get to witness these men that are in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad. That's the mighty one loves. And the name of the other was Medad, and that's to love, to be affectionate. And the Spirit rested upon them. Of course, that spirit of prophecy, even that spirit of being a leader or a ruler. And they were of them that were recorded. Of course, they were numbered, but had not gone out into the tent. But they didn't go to the tent of meeting. They prophesied in the camp. They stayed in the camp and spoke. 27, and there ran a young man and told Moses and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. So a young man, it doesn't matter who he was. He ran and he told Moses. Moses, one drawn out, and said, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp, because it was not given to anybody to speak but Moses. Of course, when Moses gave up that right to speak, he gives it over to these others as well, and we'll find out they were prophesying in the camp. 28, and the son, and Yeshua, the son of Nun, the minister of Moses, from his youth up, answered and said, My Lord Moses, shut them in. And Yeshua, of course, that means the one that's saved. He is the one that come forth from Nun. Nun means forever, basically, for perpetualness, to be perpetuity, forever. The minister of Moses, or this one who tended to Moses, the one who aided, the one that was drawn out. He did it from his youth up, answered and said, shut them in. So Joshua wants them locked up. Joshua wants them put in jail. 29, and Moses said unto him, Art you jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, that the Lord would put his Spirit upon them. Moses said unto Joshua, You're just jealous for my sake. You're jealous for me because of my authority. Would that all the Lord's people were prophets. It would be good if all the Lord's people were speakers and would speak his word. Of course, it's going to be the law. That the Lord would put his Spirit upon all them, to make them prophets, so to speak. And Moses 30, and Moses withdrew into the camp, and he and the elders of Israel. And Moses went back into the camp. He and all the elders withdrew from the camp, withdrew into the camp as with the elders of Israel. Israel being all those that contend with the mighty one. And the elders are just those that rule over them or have that authority as of now. 31. There went forth a wind from the Lord and brought across quails from the sea and let them fall by the camp, about a day's journey on this side and a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp, and about 2 cubits above the face of the earth. So there went forth this wind from the Lord. It brought across the quails from the sea. These quails are birds, and it let them fall on the camp, all around the camp, about a day's journey on this side and a day's journey on this side, all around the camp. There was a great number of quail all around the camp, about 2 cubits. You get to witness these measures that are being made plain on the earth. Because there was a time, my friend, when the quail could darken the skies, and there was a time when the quail could cover the earth as deep as your thighs. But they're not here no more in these numbers, as man has destroyed them. 32, and the people rose up all that day, and all the night, and all the next day, and gathered the quails He that gathered least gathered 10 heaps, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. And the people rose up all that day and all that night, even day and night they worked, and all the next day, gathering the quails, trying to get all this. Of course, they was getting more than they could ever eat in a meal. And they gathered the quail, and they gathered, the one that gathered the least gathered 10 heaps. Of course, that's the law heaped up here. A heap here is a homer. And they spread them all around for themselves. Of course, that's that measure. That's that heap. That's that measure of the law. We'll find out. 33. While the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote the people with a very great plague. And while they were still chewing it, it was still in their teeth, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the people, because they was those ones that had lusted. They had went after it. And the Lord smote the people with a very great plague. Of course, that plague's going to be that lusting. 34, and the name of that place was called Gebroth Hatabah, because there they buried the people that lusted. And the name of that place was called Gebroth Hatabah, and that means the grave of desire. Of course, that's the dead. That's where they buried them, the people that lusted. Of course, that's why they call it the grave of desire, or the grave of lust. 35, from Gebroth Hatabah, the people journeyed unto Katzeroth, and they abode at Katzeroth. And so from Gebroth Hatabah, of course, that's the place where they buried the ones that lusted, the grave of the lust. The people journeyed or went on from there to Katzeroth. They're learning their lessons as they go. Katzeroth is the place that is enclosed. It's like a courtyard, and they abode there at that place, that enclosure. And we're going to move forward to Numbers chapter 12. Turn and return.